Amigos y amigas de FMLIKE, estamos con JP Saxe, que le vamos a dar la bienvenida a la Argentina. Hello, JP, how are you?
I'm doing so well. Nice to meet
How
you.
is Argentina treating you?
I'm having the time of my life.
I like that. Well, you released your album, Dangerous Levels of Introspection, your debut album. How do you feel about this new record? What was the feedback with that you received from your fans?
You know, a debut album, I feel like I've been working on it my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many different parts of my heart on this album. So to know that fans all over the world get to hold a piece of my heart, it's an incredible feeling, and I'm just grateful that it's not something only I get to listen to anymore.
You know, I read that these 13 songs that are in the album came from your journals, your experiences, thoughts of the last 4 years, I think.
Yeah, mostly from the last 4 years.
Okay, so how is it that people are receiving that? You know, it's like if they are knowing you at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm. You know, I try and create not too much of a distance between who I am as a person and who I am as an artist. Mm-hmm. I think the way people know me in these songs is very similar to the way people know me as a friend. Okay. You know, I just try and be as honest as I can. And, you know, songs can only come from life. Mm-hmm. You know, I can only, if I'm doing anything other than telling the truth, I feel an anxiety about the art. Okay. It has to come from telling the truth. Even, you know, there'll be songs that come from being here in Argentina.
Ah, me gusta. I like that. I'm sorry. You know, I saw an interview that you said that the emotions on this album are things that maybe people don't talk often about that, but it's like a universal feeling, you know, in their privacy, you said. Like, it's something that we don't say too much, but it's there. So I would like to ask you, because you became like a guru emotional in this, an emotional guru in this album, but were you a person who always expressed his feelings and talk about his emotions, or is music like your safe space or your channel to express everything?
Sure, it's a really good question. When I was younger, I was very shy. You know, when I was in high school, I was very shy, very insecure. You know, I got teased a lot growing up, because when we're younger, there isn't as much power. At least we don't think there's as much power in being sensitive, you know, especially as a man growing up, having a lot of emotions. It's seen as, when you're 15 and you're with the kids at school, it's seen as weakness. What I learned, you know, coming into adulthood, is that we're all sensitive. And the real strength is being able to stand confidently in our experience of the world, to be able to own our own vulnerability. It's actually more of a weakness to try and hide it. I used to think if you could hide it, you were strong. Now I believe that if you can own it, you have strength. If you can share it, if you can be confident, and not just, you know, where you feel the most secure, but also, you know, where you feel human.
You are very wise. And we must talk about If the World Was Ending. It's like not only a life-changing song, because after that a lot of things changed in your career and also in your personal life, but was the phrase "If the World Was Ending" from another song from 4:30 in Toronto?
Yeah.
And tell me the story.
So the very first song on the album, 4:30 in Toronto, which I wrote in 2018. That was where I originally had the phrase, "If the world was ending, you'd come over," right? But you know, it didn't quite fit in that song.
Yeah.
I loved the idea, but it didn't quite fit in that song. So it stayed in my journal. And I almost forgot about it until in 2019, in the summertime, there's this earthquake in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of that lyric, if the world was ending, to come over, right? And I had this session with Julia Michaels, and I came into the session and said, I have this one lyric, I think it could be a song. And it turns out it could be a song.
and it was a really good song. And also another like fun fact is that If the World Was Ending was released in August of 2019, I think.
Oh, and forever
when COVID didn't exist, and then boom, you know, COVID, and people gave this song another meaning because of the pandemic.
Sure. Yeah, so, we never thought it would be about, I mean, when we wrote this song, no one had heard of COVID. It was 6 months before.
Can you repeat?
And I think
it was missing the connection.
When we wrote this song, no one had heard about COVID yet. But, you know, originally it was about a hypothetical, you know, like what would it take for all of the things that get in the way of love to not matter anymore? Hypothetically.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, 6 months after the song comes out, all of a sudden, everyone is thinking about it. It isn't hypothetical. You know, we're in a situation where we're scared, we're anxious, we're uncertain, we don't know what's going to happen. And this idea of is right now a moment where all of the maybe reasons I didn't want to talk to someone don't really matter as much. Although I am against the texting of exes.
No, please.
And I think a lot of exes have been texted because of my song, and I feel bad about it.
Oh no, you shouldn't.
I don't support that. If there's a real love, maybe with a family member, a parent, a sibling, an old friend that you haven't talked to because of a stupid fight, call them.
Yeah.
If someone mistreated you in a relationship, but you miss them and you're trying to reach back for that toxicity, don't call them, and don't use my song as an excuse to call them.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, because now they don't have an excuse. I mean, they can pull the excuse of, I heard in If the World Was Ending.
Yeah, you come over, right? No, don't go over.
No.